What motivates your non-player characters? Why does the Evil Overlord want to take over the world? Why do your monsters do what they want to do? So I'm going to talk about non-player character motives and motivation, and this gets a little bit technical, but we'll go through this. Maslow wrote a hierarchy of needs. There's a pyramid of needs. You have a psychological need, you have a safety need, you have a love and belonging need, you have a need for esteem, and you have a need for self-actualization. So I'm going to go through and do examples using three different things that you find in a world. The first one I'm going to do is a kobold, because kobolds are simple. What motivates them and why do they act the way they do? And we'll talk about that using Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We'll also go through vampires and a lich, and I'm going to use the example for the lich of the Lich Kegel in my world of Amoris as a specific example. So the first need is psychological need. That's air, water, food, clothing, shelter, and continuity of species. That can actually become an important thing if you're dealing with unique creatures. They want to continue their species. So kobolds are egg layers. They reproduce rapidly. They're going to need a lot of food. That's one of the things that they're looking for, is a constant source of food. They're going to need some sort of shelter, and they're going to need water and air, of course. So they're going to try and find places where there is a lot of food available to them. Vampires have a need to feed, so they need the blood of the living. So their physiological needs are that they're going to need a herd to feed on, shall we say. So a lich needs something to fill their phylactery, or they will become a demi-lich. And we'll assume that they don't want to do that because that would be easy to do. So they're going to need sacrifice souls to fill their phylactery. And that's one of the reasons that the world of Amoris in my campaign, that the party is trying to defeat the Great Lich Kegel, because she's come up with an interesting way of getting her phylactery filled by volunteers. So the second need, once you've got your air, food, water, clothing, shelter, and continuity of species under control, your second need is you're going to need safety needs. And these are going to be personal security, financial security, health and well-being, and safety from accidents, illness, and attacks. So just like a mother hen guarding her eggs or guarding her chicks, or an alligator guarding her eggs, a kobold will guard their lair because that's where their eggs are. So that's where they'll guard their young and their eggs. So that gives a motivation for the safety needs. First thing that the kobolds will look for is food. The next thing and safety and secure and some sort of shelter. Now they'll want to be safe from attacks. That's why they build all the traps. Vampires need to guard their coffin or grave or crypt, whatever they're bound to. So that's one of their safety needs. They have to do that. A lich will need to guard their phylactery, because that's what keeps them from becoming a demi-lich. So that's their safety needs. That the vampires and the lich don't need air and water, and things like that. But they will need their safety needs, and all of these will try and create something that will make it easy to protect themselves from others who want to come in and destroy them. The next level is love and belonging. There are friendship, intimacy, and family. And so what we see with kobolds, they'll want to seek out members of their own kind. They don't want to be solitary because they will want to have friendship, intimacy, and family. So this gets into the concept of, how to, in theory they reproduce so that you'll have others and you'll have a family, and the kobolds are there. Vampires will establish a stable of spawn or vampire spawn to control. That's what they want. What they want as a family. They don't really need friendship. They are more controlling, but they will seek to grow their vampire spawn. That they're Lich is a little bit odd because they may seek through belonging through a worship of something like Orcus, because that's love and belonging to some nefarious group. In my world of Amoris, the Lich Kegel has a slightly different view that's somewhat unusual. She seeks love and belonging from those who willingly become sacrifices to fill her phylactery. She wants them to actually love and desire her. And this is the whole idea that she has developed these sex slave traders who come out and capture people and put them into the sex slave, and they add the accoutrement or the bindings that enhance the sexual experience, and this binds them more and more to what Kegel wants, because they want greater and greater pleasure. And so they keep seeking to eventually become a servant of Kegel and a willing sacrifice. And this is how Kegel fulfills her love and belonging sense. The next level is esteem. And so that's respect or self-respect and the want to have others value you. So kobolds will want to be known as someone who defends their lair, who through great acts of heroism or great acts of bringing in lots of food or so on. So that's how they will seek to gain respect inside their group. Vampires will seek respect and fear from those they feed on, because that's why they want them they love the fear in their eyes, because they know that they're a terrible monster, and the others will die in terror. But the vampires occasionally will be fixated on a young beauty or a child, but that's not the standard. They want that. This is why with esteem, if you do confront a lich, this is the classic evil overlord wanting to boast to their victims how they're able to defeat them because they've planned for everything. And so the lich will often boast of their power and say that you're incapable of defeating them. And this is the weakness of the evil overlord, that they want that self-esteem. It actually makes sense that the evil overlord wants to boast about their accomplishments, because this fits in Maslow's pyramid of needs, because this is how they get esteem. And then we lead to the top level, which is self-actualization, or the desire for self-fulfillment. And Maslow also defined characteristics of self-fulfillment. And they're that the characteristics that they're comfortable, they have comfortable acceptance of themselves. They're comfortable with themselves. They know who they are. They know what their capabilities are. They're comfortable with others and with nature. So they're reliant on their own experiences and judgment. They're independent, and they don't depend upon others. That's where they become self-actualized. Now with the kobold, this would be the leader of the tribe who has finally reached self-actualization, or the leader of the group. The same thing with a vampire. He's got a group or a stable of spawn that he controls, so he's not reliant on anything else. They're and that the with their self outreach, self actualization, they're spontaneous and natural. They're autonomous, and they're comfortable with solitude. So this is where we see the Lich coming into their own, because they have reached self-actualization, because they are solitude. They're not really, they don't need the loving and belonging with others. And the Maslow said that they have a non-hostile sense of humor, and this ability to laugh at themselves. So this is slightly different from what you see with the evil overlords, where they take every sense of offense. If they really are the evil overlord and powerful, then they probably will have the ability to laugh at themselves, to laugh at but they can poke fun at that. So what would be self-actualization for a kobold? Well, the dream of a kobold would go out and form their own lair, to form their own tribe or whatever of kobolds. Vampires pursue physical symbols of what they crave. And so what they're going to do is that their lair, or where they live, is going to have lots of rich ornamentation. This is where how they put their treasure into their ornament. It's going to be, the castle is going to have rich fixtures. They may be old, and because the vampire has slightly, let's say, degenerate wishes and whims, they're not going to be perhaps what a normal person would view as attractive, but to the vampire, that's what they would want. And a lich will collect and create numerous magical items. It all fits that's what they're proud of their accomplishments, what they've researched, and so on. So I urge you, take a look at Maslow's pyramid of needs, and you can apply them to most, I won't say all, because certain undead, a ghost, a skeleton, a zombie, they really don't have needs because they're different. Same thing with golems. They're not going to have the needs. They're going to be controlled or whatever that's there. But if you pick a creature in bullywugs or orcs or whatever, think about Maslow's pyramid of needs, because it helps explain what their motivation is. You can go through and see where they're at, because the majority of people are not going to be all the way up to self-actualization. That's going to be only the leaders. And if you're building non-player characters, think about this. If you're building, just the head of a town, the mayor, the governor, the lord, whatever, follow through with this idea of Maslow's pyramid of needs, because you can take a look at what do they need, what kind of security, how are they fulfilling their physiological needs, which often are, for a lord, he knows that he's got to have food for his town and so on. And the safety needs of the town, a lord will need to do that. And then love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. This is an approach to understanding why the non-player characters do what they do. This is not easy, but that's why I put this as a little bit more advanced for figuring out the motivation for your characters. But it makes a deeper sense to your plot in your campaign, because you can explain why the evil overlord wants to do the things that he's doing, and so on. So I encourage you to take a look at Maslow's pyramid of needs. If you like my video, press the thumbs up button. I'd appreciate that. or if this interests you, you can always subscribe to my channel. There's a button right above. I look forward to hearing some comments. Tell me what you think about this, and I'll try and reply, and we can see if I'll do some more of these. Thank you.